Putting up the link, guys. I'll be right back. Link to join, Control V. Oops. I always forget. It's easy to do when you have a ukulele in one hand, but when you have a guitar, you can't do it. All right. Highlight, link, enter, edit, settings, open, update, update. Patiently click, dun, 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 dun. And then click that to make sure that it opens up in the correct spot. Right, yeah. And there I am. Hey, Gary. I'm looking pretty solid today, huh? Hair's not too bad for needing a haircut 6 weeks ago. All right. Close that out. Make that go away. Make that go away. And we will start in 2 minutes. Today's Amazing Grace. It's going to be fun. It's going to be beautiful. And let's see. All right. All everything's set properly, except my body. Amazing gracias. Amazing gracias. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, got your note. Yeah, it's fascinating with this. How we can look at the music, we understand the music, we know what we're supposed to do, everything's going to work out just fine. And then when we try to do it, oh my gosh, so hard, so hard. Um, I think a lot of this is just the business of holding the instrument is quite challenging. I think the business that we have a lot of space over here adds to the complexity. I think the fact that there are at least two more strings and probably three strings too many on this instrument makes it a little bit more challenging. I think the nice part about this instrument is this beautiful sustain and this deep tone, and I also know that that can be a curse as well. So it's just a far more complex instrument, and getting our hands to cooperate with what we know is sitting on that paper um, is way harder, And so you do what you can do, and you're happy with that, and you know that you're going to get better, and you know that you're going to get more in depth, and your fingers are going to continue to develop and change and grow, and you're going to end up with some really beautiful tunes. Let's see. Don made it in. Don, Erica turned you loose with her Gmail password, did she, Don? Glad you made it today. We got a great song on tap. It's Amazing Grace. I think you probably knew that. You and I had already talked about that on there. And so we have a beautiful afternoon of music. And and Bill is logging in. Bill is for those of you who don't know Bill's a very fine guitar player and really a knowledgeable guy. And he comes around just once in a while to show off how much better he is than the rest of us. No, he's a great guy, and glad you're here, Bill. And this widget here, the widget's on this side for me. I think it might be on that side for you guys, but it's interesting with the ukulele group. When I do that, it sort of goes up and up and up and up, and then we just kind of step plateaus, and then it goes down. And in this group, it goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And I think those of you guys that know the program and you're committed to getting to be better guitar players, you're already here. And then we get a lot of looky loos, I think, from YouTube just being alive. I think the fascinating thing about guitar, you don't see this in necessarily other instruments, is that people just sort of wander the earth thinking about and wanting to get involved in guitar things. And so they will go to guitar stores and wander through guitar stores, and they will wander through Reverb and read about every single guitar that's for sale there, and wander through Craigslist and wander through YouTube and wander through our lessons. And uh, um, they could take that wandering, aimless, I love guitars energy and put it into learning how to play it. And then, I don't know, um, I have this sense that people know how good this is, but they're not necessarily willing to put in the work. And you guys are, so I'm delighted you're here. Hey, Arlo is another one who's put in a lot of years on this machine. He knows what's going on, and he doesn't really need to show him how to play Amazing Grace. But hopefully he's picking up on new ideas and new things each time that he comes around. Um, mostly he's waiting Mostly he's here because his boat isn't quite ready to go out on. So glad you're here, Arlo. Okay, I run these lessons as if you are here in Denver in my live lessons, and hopefully that helps you. And if you're newer and it's way above your head, just know that I've got easier stuff. If you've been around forever and you're like that guy, right? Then this isn't for you. Hopefully, though, there's something I'm going to say that you can get out of there that's going to improve your guitar playing. Level 3 is where I basically let you go, right? Level 1, I got a lot of stuff I got to hammer into your noggin. Level 2 is probably level 1 is clearly the most important because that's where I get you playing correctly. Level 2 is where we finish up the toolbox that you need, and then level 3 is really designed to play, you know, well-known songs in the public domain with the full set of tools. I don't pull any punches in this. We do bar chords. Yeah, we do arpeggios. Yeah, we do all that stuff. My expectation when you're in level 3 is that you're really just refining those skills, those tools, the tools you'll need, so that when you get to level 4 and there are 30 amazing songs done and there's 30 more on their way, and yeah, Hotel California is one of them, and Danny Boy is one of them, and actually, I think Danny Boy is in level 3. But the point is that when you get to level 4, that's it. All of the good stuff is waiting for you there. You just got to make sure that level 3 is solid and in good shape, and all of the tools that you need to have are under your command, and then you can play anything you want. And so really the first 3 levels are the important ones. But the one I get bugged for is level 4. I need new music, send me new music. And so before we get out of here today, I'll talk about the adjustments we're going to make to what we've been doing online, so that hopefully it'll work for you. It may or may not be helpful to you, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. Okay, so let's run through the song. We're going to play it at least 3 different ways. One way we will play it is with chords, and we're going to play it in lots of different ways with the chords. Then we're going to go through and we're going to play one note at a time to make sure that your reading the tablature is going well. Or if you are a note reader and you want to read the standard notation, you get that here as well. And then the third way we will play is, of course, with the Tough Axe program. And that's a I came up with that word because the word fingerstyle doesn't mean anything, and the word chord melody doesn't really make any sense either. And I just needed a simple phrase that would say, hey, here's me putting the chords, here's me putting the melody in, here's me mixing in some extra fun notes in there. That's going to be called Tough Axe. And so it's tough to do, and you got to be tough to do it. And that's for most grown adults that want to play acoustic guitar. That's how they'd like to play. They'd like it to be beautiful. They'd like the melody to come out. They really don't have any interest in singing, and so that's how they want to play. And so that's what I teach. And I think it comes out beautiful. I think it's really a nice way to play the instrument. All right, let's run through the chords. There's only 3: C chord, index finger here, middle finger up there, ring finger up there. We generally strum 5 strings. Gorgeous. Anytime that you see that a song is in C, and you'll know it's in C because it starts in C, it ends with C, and there's lots of C's in the middle. Anytime that you see that a song is in the key of C, you're almost guaranteed that an F chord's coming along for the ride. Okay? And that's one of those that we tend to avoid when we're newer, and it's one that I would love to avoid, having played a long time. It's just a hard chord to do. Okay, so let's talk about F chord. Bar here, I generally recommend you put the bar just on top of the fret wire and then roll it back just a little bit. And you'll hear, even with me, right? I've been doing this a while. I know how to make a bar chord. There's a dead note there. And that's because my knuckles are getting big because of arthritis. And so I'm having more and more challenges with getting that down flat. There it is. Okay. Just like you'll have when you're working on your bar chords. The nice part is you're going to put other fingers in front of your bar, and a lot of times you can cover up these places in your finger architecture that are not necessarily guitar conducive. Sometimes you'll raise your bar up higher. Sometimes you'll pull it down a little bit, and that's what we'll make minor adjustments to the bar in order to deal with the dead strings. I do tell people when they first start bars, let the strings be dead. Right? Just let them be that way, because it's going to take you a while before they come in pretty and nice. And you got to get your hand strength up. You're trying to build this muscle right here, and you just don't have it in the beginning. And so you've got to wait for this muscle to get strong. And in the meantime, you'll have some crummy F chords. That's what we're doing. Elizabeth is asking an important question. How much pressure are you putting on here? So the amount of pressure I'm putting on here is identical to the amount of pressure you're putting on here. The difference is that because I have a fairly strong hand now from playing guitar, it doesn't feel like a lot of pressure. Okay? So my immediate answer is I'm not pressing very hard. And if I look through the guitar pedagogy literature, we're supposed to say, you don't need to squeeze that hard. The truth is, here's the truth. This is the truth that's a little disconcerting. When you're new, when you're working on this, when you haven't built this muscle, you're going to feel like you need to squeeze like the dickens out of your guitar. I mean, you're going to have to squeeze like crazy to get it clean. And that's going to wear you out. It's going to make your whole arm tired. It's going to because you just don't have this muscle built yet. And again, give yourself permission to sound terrible while you're building that particular hand strength there. And yeah, in the beginning, I bet you're feeling like you are having to squeeze so darn hard to get everybody down and clean that it's almost no fun. And so try it, when you're really focused in on it. So I'm going to make a perfect F chord, and you roll your bar down, you add your extra fingers on there. But then when you're actually playing a song and it comes out clunky, just be okay with that. I just didn't squeeze it hard enough. I didn't get it on quite right. Okay. And be okay with that. But I do remember pretty vividly when I came back to guitar after being away from it for quite a while, that F chord felt like I was going to have to yank the whole neck off in order to get it to come out clearly. And so when you don't have the hand strength necessary yet, you're really squeezing hard, and it will also depend on the quality of your guitar as well. So if you have metal strings, it's going to take more strength to hold those down than if you have a classical guitar. If your guitar is gigantic, it's probably going to take a whole lot more strength than if you have a rational sized guitar. And also, how far off of the frets your strings are. Now, most of the guitar players I hang around with like real low action because they either come from electric guitars or they have pretty decent quality guitar, Martin type guitars, a little bit higher quality guitars that they've bought, and they're good ones. And so they'll tolerate having lower action. But if you have a lower price guitar, and please don't go below about $200, right? Those guitars are not really playable. But I have one guitar I paid $180 and it's awesome, but that's not typical. Usually you got to pay, $200-300 to get a decent guitar. Um, that the higher the action, the more you have to squeeze. The other thing that shows up when it comes to action is low action isn't the only answer, especially like when you look at a flamenco guitar or a true classical guitar, very often they'll be fairly high action, because they're going to be playing those strings pretty roughly, and they want to make sure that it's not buzzing up against the neck. And so there's not a right answer for how high action should be, but there are tendencies, and we tend to want a lower action because it's a little easier to play, but not always. And so there's that. Okay. All right. Long discussion on F chord, but basically put your bar on and put an E chord in front of it. And at this level, level 2, we would have gone over that in more detail. Okay. Now we have G chord. If you are playing this arrangement, you're going to do a regular G chord. Index finger here, there, middle finger there, ring finger there, G chord. Beautiful. Okay. I will point out Arlo is sitting right there. Okay. Arlo is a bar chord demon, and he would be the first to tell me, Gary, why don't you just have him do this F chord and then slide up to that G chord? You should do that if you want. Okay. So, well, this song we never go from F to G, so you might not do that. We never even come from G and go back to F. So that is probably not advice I would take on this song. Right? But a lot of times in a song, you go C and then F and then G. So you're playing your C, la da 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 da. Okay, so that's when you're taking advantage of the fact that you've got your bar chord on, you're working on hard, and your next, if you've got an F and your very next chord's a G, you can either take it off and do your open G, or you can just take your G and slide it up to, you've got your F and slide it up to G. Okay, so it's the same shape, but it's on the 3rd fret instead of the 1st fret. So you get F. And so I'm really paying attention, Elizabeth, as I'm playing. How hard am I squeezing? I do not feel like I'm squeezing this to death, right? But so I don't feel like I'm really putting a ton of pressure on there. But again, I think the main reason is that I've developed a hand strength where I've got enough muscle there where I'm not having to beat the darn thing to death. Bill asks, moving to a G chord with the pinky is pretty easy. Moving to the G chord with the pinky is also pretty easy. So we'll talk about that just a little bit. When you're in the key of C and you know that F and G are also going to be in that song, it is very normal for you to go to this G, which is middle, ring, and then put your pinky down here. Okay, so that's pretty, and when you take folk guitar, that's the G they show you, right? That's what they want you to do, because they want you to be able to do this, go down 2 to get F, and then go back up to get your G. Okay, and a lot of times when I see singers, they'll use that particular progression, those two, and those two, and then they just have to make sure their pinky's on at the right point, or their index finger ends up in the right places, and it simplifies their job so they can focus in on singing. I don't like that G chord. I think it just my pinky finger doesn't like it, and so I almost never use that G chord, but you should know it exists. The other G chord that does exist is when instead of doing your ring finger on the 1st string, you put it on the 2nd string and then put your pinky on the 1st string. You get a really nice pop on the bottom of your guitar on those high pitch notes. Really has a nice overall tone on a guitar. So you'll see most professionals when they go grab that G shape, they're going to add in both of those. It just sounds pretty. Yeah, excellent comment, Bill. All right, so you got your chords. Let's go through and let's play it. Okay, whatever shape chord that you feel comfy with, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to sing, and you guys know it's never good, but it is what it is on YouTube, right? 1, 2. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. 3, 1, 2. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for me, as I'm playing through that, the hardest part is when I see that F chord coming on. Oh gosh, here we go. Get it there on time, right? Getting it there on time, and then trying to get it on clean, right? So that is by far the most difficult part of just singing and strumming it. Is boy, that F chord is going to be tough on you. People quit guitar because of F chord. Don't be that person. Okay, go ahead and just know that it's going to come in one of these days. And until then, that's how you play your F chord, and you live with that until all of a sudden one day, and it'll come out and it'll be beautiful. All right. Before we jump into melody and tough acts, let's talk about the arpeggios. Now, I wrote one out here. It's actually fairly complicated, where you're going to go on some of the chords, you're going thumb, index, middle, and on other chords, you're going ring, middle, index. Okay, so it's 3 beats for each chord, and three notes for each measure, and it's actually going to end up sounding pretty good. And a lot of times, if you're okay with singing and you've got a song on your hands that you're ready to give it a try to, just playing simple chords can get, if you're like, yep, I've got that, that's not hard for me, then you want to start talking about cleaning up this hand, right? And what we want to do is add an arpeggio pattern to that, and it'll end up making it sound so much better, even though we are not really doing anything different other than instead of strumming, we're plucking. Okay, so you start that business of arpeggio picking with using all 4 fingers, pick any 4 strings. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Okay, that's how we start arpeggio picking. Then once we get comfortable and that's going smooth, then we're going to start splitting them up. Instead of plucking everybody at once, we're going to pluck 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. So let's try that. Just 3 plucks per measure. Ready, play. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, that's 1 pluck per beat, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it doesn't really matter which strings you use as long as you're holding the complete chord over here. Okay. Once you get good at that, now see, we'll keep leveling up, right? First I strum, then I pluck, then I arpeggiate, simple. Now we'll arpeggiate fancy, okay? So now I'm going to do thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring. Sorry, thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now notice it's a multiple of 3, and so it's going to work in this song. And now we're going to get a whole lot of extra notes in here while my voice is hanging out above the as the melody, and the chords are going to magically going to come out because I'm holding them, obviously, and then arpeggiating the heck out of them. Okay, so let's give that a try. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every single measure. 1, 2. Amazing. I blew it. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. If you enjoy singing, and you ought to try a little anyway, right? Or grab a kazoo. This song doesn't really fit into the kazoo overall thought process behind kazoos. But if you were going to sing it, I would be thinking about, gosh, if I can get 6 beats, 6 plucks in 3 beats and keep my rhythm steady, I'm going to sound like I really know what I'm doing, even though I just know that I only know these 3 chords and how the song goes. It's a way to sound much, much more sophisticated instead of just strumming. Okay. And again, we talk picks sometimes, and in fingerstyle we don't use a pick because we are always needing to use these 4 fingers to create that kind of arpeggio pattern throughout every song, and so you can't use a pick. And there are styles of guitar where you use a pick, and I don't find them interesting because generally speaking you're using a pick to be loud and to back up a singer, and for me that's just not the way I like to play guitar. A lot of people love that, right? And there are other styles that use picks. There's a style called flat picking, and that's when you see how fast you can play melody. Elizabeth asks, your right hand is always in a claw. When not plucking, do your fingers ever rest on the guitar? When not plucking, do your fingers ever rest on the guitar? It's a great question. What do I do with my hand when I'm not doing work? When I am doing arpeggios and when I'm trying to do an entire song, either tough acts, generally with tough acts, and I'm trying to use my claw, I don't touch any part of the guitar. Okay. Or if I'm going to do the tough acts, or nor am I. Right? So I'm not going to touch anything on the top of the guitar. However, and I'm about to, if any classical guitar player ever watches this video, they'll lose their mind. It is okay to anchor your hand with your pinky right here. It is okay. All right. So if you are working on learning your arpeggio patterns, let's say we're just going to work on that C chord and we're going to do the 6-beat pattern. If you put your pinky here, dun 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 dun, that is okay. You're not dramatically altering the sound of the instrument, and you're kind of helping your hand not fly all over the place, right? And so you will anchor your pinky here and do that. Now, do we want that? Probably not. Probably not. We would probably like to be in control of this without doing this. I don't think. I'm not positive. I've never looked at this question particularly, but I bet if you looked at 1,000 classical guitar players, I bet none of them ever touch the soundboard. Probably. I don't know. I'll have to look and see on that. But we really don't. As the music gets more complex, you really can't be anchored, and so we tend not to. And again, like I say, I don't think I'm saying anything that is too heretical. We would, if in the beginning anyway, if you feel like, hey, I can get my hand to cooperate a little bit better if I'm anchored, I think that's fine. I think it's just absolutely fine. But long term, probably not. We probably would rather not be anchored. We'd probably rather just be floating out here above here. Um, and I do see sometimes when people are pick players, they will also anchor and they will do play like this. Um, and again, they're doing the same thing. They're just making sure they know where their hand is in relationship to the strings, and then it's much easier to do your picking there. But I would say in fingerstyle and classical, we tend not to anchor because we got a lot of work to do with this hand. And if you anchor it, it has a tendency to limit you just a little bit. So there's that. All right, so we talked about chords. We sang through the melody a few times. We talked about playing it with arpeggios and different things you can do with arpeggios. Which strings do you use? You can decide for the most part in arpeggios. So I always, not always, but almost always write out an arpeggio pattern for you to practice with. But you certainly don't feel like that's the right way. It's just an idea that I thought sounded good at the time, and you should be experimental with arpeggio picking. Um, let's see, you eventually just know where the strings are. Yeah, I think Bill's right. When I started teaching guitar, I did not know where the strings were and I was messing them up all the time. Now I pretty much know where they are. I don't know. I think it's just a matter of just time, right? That you in the beginning, you feel like, oh gosh, I got to anchor just so my hand will be where it's in a predictable place. But I think over time, you just get where you know it. By the way, you're going to see me make a billion mistakes, and that's usually because I've lost track of where my right hand is and I'm grabbing the wrong string. It happens to me all the time. If I practice and I was really focused in on presenting a perfect piece of music in a concert situation, I would practice that until that did not happen. But when I'm teaching or working on a new piece or whatever, or playing a piece I haven't played in a long time, yeah, it happens all the time. I grab the wrong strings. You get better at it, but it certainly doesn't go away permanently. All right, let's play the melody. Okay, if I remember right, everything's a 1 and a 3. Everything's a 1 and a 3. I don't even think there are any 2s. Oh, there is 1 2. There's 1 2, and there are 2 2s. All right, so we got a 2 that's going to come in on that 3rd string right there. Everything else is either going to be a 1 or a 3. Okay, and zeros, of course. All right, let's go nice and slow. Let your guitar ring out. This song is meant to be slow. It's meant to be beautiful. You want to try to get every note clean and pretty. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Two, three, 1, 2. Two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, my guitar died out about beats 5. Okay, but if the sheet music says keep holding on to it, keep holding on to it. Now, I didn't do that great of a job at that. A couple of places where I kind of had a crummy experience. I would like to do it again. Let's do it again together. 1, 2. You know what I was doing? I was thinking, is your thumb in a good position? You should have good thumb position. You want to make sure you have good thumb position. You need to have your thumb in the correct position so that everybody will see that your thumb is in the correct position. You get that cognitive dissonance going on, and then you mess up. Okay, I'm going to make sure that my thumb is in good position. Here we go from the top. 1, 2. hopefully that's going smooth. Hopefully your guitar brings out the best in that song. That's a beautiful, beautiful melody. Harlow says yes, it just becomes muscle memory. Okay. Yeah. Arlo had been in guitar for 65, 70 years. I don't know, long time. And yeah, you've seen lots and lots of different ways that people do their right hand. Probably best I like that. I like that. Do what's right for you right now. Yeah, do what's right for you right now. And yeah, let's do that. All right. So get the melody. Hopefully that's not complicated for you right now. Let's complicate this. We'll wrap up today with a couple of times through on Tough Axe. Again, remember, Tough Axe is where fingerstyle gets you to. Okay, the only difference between true fingerstyle and what I call tough axe is that there would be a lot of arpeggio playing inside of this as well. So you play the chord and the melody plus a bunch of extra notes just in there for pretty. And I'm not going to play that today. So we're going to play what's on the paper. Two ways of doing it, right? You can play with your claw. Okay, you can play that, or you can do everything that I write is also works thumb down. Okay, that's how I'm going to play it. When you're thinking about a song like this, you're thinking, do I want to play it more plucky, with a little bit more pizzazz, or do I want to pluck it, thumb it to get as much lush, beautiful tones as possible out of my guitar? And in this song, I don't think there's any question. You want as much lush tones as possible out of this to make it really feel beautiful, right? Um, and let's give it one. Let's give it a try, see how we do, and then we'll go back and do it one more time. Okay. So from the top, 1, 2. Pinky. Add your pinky. Again, just hold on to that last chord until your guitar is dead. Okay. Um, Pretty nice little melody, right? You put all that stuff together, your guitar pays you back. That's really nice. Again, I'm just thumb downing it, but it 100% will work with the claw, and it might be more in your wheelhouse at this moment. And sometimes you would go through and play it twice and do it different way both times. Let's play it one more time. I will wrap up with this. This song is as you know, it's an old church song, but it does come up a lot. It comes up because it's just really that beautiful, and it's worth knowing a song like this. Just to have something that sounds absolutely gorgeous and lush on your guitar, and so it's kind of one to keep in your rotation once in a while. The other reason I bring it up is occasionally I get played to call a wedding or a funeral. And when you play a wedding, you get paid $350 and you have to deal with the bride's mother. And the bride wants some stupid song is absolutely hideous that she wants you to play at the service. And you have to learn it. And it's never a song you would learn otherwise. The other thing is funerals, right? And you get paid $500 for those, so money's better. And they want you to play Over the Rainbow, Love Me Tender, and Amazing Grace. Those are the three songs that you have to play. And all three of those are good songs. All three of those songs are songs you would probably pick to play anyway, and you don't usually end up having to play something ridiculous. And by the way, the food's just as good at both places, and the guy that's laying in the box now is absolutely wonderful. And so don't discount playing funerals and playing some of this beautiful stuff because it works out great. Didn't John Newton write the words after years of being in the slave trade? I don't know the story behind this song. I do know it was John Newton that is credited with the song, and I can imagine that this came from that African tradition of the horrible things that happen. And but it's these days as we just think of it as a church song, but I am positive, and you're right, Elizabeth. It came from probably a very unpleasant tradition. So um, that's what I know about. That's about all I know about it. So I'm sure you're right. All right, let's play it one last time. This will be our grand finale. I'm going to make your guitar sound as good as you possibly can. If you're not ready for tough acts, which is fine, play the melody. If you're not ready for melody, play the chords. Erica, yes, that is the story I heard. He had a revelation and then turned the ship around. Oh, good for him. Heck yeah, right? Well, yeesh, can you imagine? Can you imagine selling human beings? Just incredible that there was a time when somebody could get their head wrapped around something like that. It's incredible. All right, let's focus in on playing beautiful melody and lovely chords. Okay, from the top, last time through, do your best. One, two. I like it. I like it a lot. One of the things you might have noticed on that very last chord, our tendency is to go all the way down on that last chord, right? But when you're in a C chord, it's a lovely idea to stop and not play this first note. This is when you're holding a C chord, this is now a C string, and this is still an E string, and so it actually sounds prettier just to just stop right there, and then you got a C on top and a C on the bottom, and it absolutely comes together beautifully. So, yeah, and also the one thing that occurred to me as I was playing that, I'm playing it so slow, and it sounds right. And probably on almost all of your music, if you would play it so slow that you could really get all of that beauty and correctness and careful thought through on all thought through. That's a terrible way to put that. That you have carefully thought through every motion you're going to make on that guitar. If you could play it at that speed, you can always speed it up and turn it into the rock and roll piece of your dreams. But if you start and just take your time and really study measure by measure, note by note, movement by movement, you're going to end up, the whole guitar sounds better when you do that correctly. And so don't be shy about playing slow, man. It is absolutely the secret to having great tone on your guitar is starting by playing very slow and getting everything right, posture right, your attack angle right, your thoughtfulness in terms of how long a note should be or how short it should be, how loud it should be, how quiet, how staccato or not staccato it should be. You're really thinking all that through when you're playing at that speed. And then you can always speed it up, right? But get it right going slow first. So there was a Bill Moyer special with Jersey Norman about the ages ago. Oh, wonderful. All right. So Bill Moyers, go check it out. All right, guys, that was Friday. Whew. couple of changes that we're going to be making next week. So just so you were aware, I've been getting a little static from these guitarists who think they know what they're doing. Some of them actually do, that they want a little bit more advanced material. And so I'm dedicating my summer to making sure they have a new higher level piece each week. And so this week it's going to be Blue Moon, and I'm going to be shipping that out to people. So if you didn't get today's email, make sure you go to denverguitarorchestra.com and get on the mailing list. It's right on the top of the front page. You can put your name in there and put your email address in there. But you should have got an email earlier today that says, hey, we're making some changes, and one of those things is we're going to be playing Blue Moon. And the only thing about level 4 stuff is it's all copyright and mass and all this stuff. So I have to be a little careful about how we move that stuff around. And so I'll be sending out a couple more emails about it. But if you want to get involved in that, let me know. And then I will be sending out an email related to that with the music attached to it. I am going to charge $10 for that lesson. And so on next Thursday night, we're going to actually play that song. And so I am going to charge a little bit just because I think that when we're at that level, you guys are probably 100%, 1,000% committed. And I think, I got to somehow make money doing this, unfortunately. So I think for the level 4 stuff, I think we'll charge a little bit for that. And you'll let me know if you decide, nah, screw it, I don't like that guy, I'm gonna go find cheaper stuff, or I'm gonna keep playing stuff that's free. That's okay too, I get it. Yeah, down here you subscribe to my channel, that way you just wait on the time of day, and then it just magically turns lively for me, and then a thumbs up if you're learning anything. And then next week we're going to abandon the 5:45 time slot. Lots of you guys told me, hey, I gotta be making dinner at that time of day, and of course we've got people logging in from different parts of America too, so some of them this doesn't work at all, that is dinner time, and others it doesn't matter. But we're going to move these live sessions to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard, which is 1 o'clock in California and 4 o'clock Eastern. That way, it's just in that middle slot of the day where people who are at home, they can log in and they're not interrupting other stuff that's life related. We're going to abandon the Sunday session, and we're just going to play Monday through Friday, and it'll be at 2 o'clock every day. I will be having that Thursday night session where we play more advanced material, and so I'd love it if you would consider joining that. And that will be interesting because a lot of times the material I hand out it's hard material and you might not be ready for in 1 week, and so it might be an opportunity for you to sort of gauge your progress about where you're at, what's going well, what's not going well, and really understand how your body is reacting with the guitar. So we'll start making those changes next week, and hopefully you'll still be able to log in and take advantage of this. If you can't, you can't. I get it. We are trying to get the world back to normal. It is not back to normal, guys, and so don't be confused if that bug is still out there, and that bug is still going to get you. And so just be thoughtful about that when you're out and about, because we're freeing up society. They're just worried about money. That's why they're opening it up. And so just be knowledgeable before you head out there. And if you don't have to go out there, don't. Let's see. All right, Elizabeth says, thanks, Aaron. Lots of good help and info. Okay, good. I'm good. It's nice. Elizabeth's a pretty smart musician, so if she thinks that she got something good out of here, then hopefully you got something good out of here too. Bill, always good to see you. Arlo, who else has said hi tonight? Got everybody who said hi to me. Anyway, Don is here also. So glad you guys can make it. It looks like we ended up with a few others hiding out from here in my widget, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to say hi. I get it. You're like, oh God, if I say hi, he might expect me to play well. And so have a wonderful night, you guys. It's Friday night. Go wild. Go do a puzzle or something, and keep playing this. It's a good instrument. I will see you Monday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we will pick up with wherever we're at in level 1 on Mondays, level 2 on Tuesdays, level 3 on Wednesdays. Thursday we'll have a 2 o'clock session and a 7 p.m. session, uh, and then on Fridays we'll hand out the new music for the following week. So I'm super excited about a piece that I'm working on right now. I don't know necessarily if I will have it finished by next Friday, but it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it's a piece you've never played before, and a piece most of you won't know. And so it's going to be a fun opportunity to try something new that I've seen a ton of it floating around YouTube, and I think they're right. So that will be up next week. And this week, if you want to play Blue Moon with us next Thursday, just toss me an email and I'll tell you about how to go about getting a copy of that. All right. Have a wonderful night, and I will see all of you next week. Be good.